Welcome to the Doctor's Kitchen. This is the podcast recipe that I did for the incredible Alexandra Adams. She is the UK's first deaf and blind medical student. But if you think that limits her, you are very, very wrong. We have perhaps one of the most impactful conversations that I've ever had with anyone in the kitchen and on the podcast. You can check out the full chat that we had in the link below. Please make sure you check out her TED Talk as well. Again, one of the most incredible talks that I've ever seen. She talks about her experiences with discrimination within the medical system, her trials and tribulations throughout medical school, and what she still does on a daily basis. She is an absolute rock star. I made her a delicious saag chana recipe. It's got tons of spices, beautiful chickpeas, some wilted spinach, and a little bit of coconut cream. And she absolutely loved it, and so will you. Welcome, and it's a privilege to meet you, and it's a privilege to be cooking for you as well. We had a chat on the phone, and you love experimental food, you love trying new things, music to my ears. So for you, I'm making something that I haven't made before. So it's exciting for me as well. It's going to be a spiced chickpeas with a saag, also known as wilted spinach, a little bit of red chilli. You alright with your spice?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not one of those people that can literally sort of have the very top spice in Nando's, but I do like a little hint.
I love how you use Nando's as the qualifying
criteria. The mango and lime or lemon and herb, I'm like...
You want an atomic pepper? It's more tingly than hot. Yeah.
I will go for the mango and lime level of spice. Tell me a bit about how you cook at home and what kind of things that you like.
I love anything eccentric, and I will literally just go into the cupboard and get everything out and just put them together and say, see if it works, essentially. I told you that I do a lot of travelling, and I love just trying sort of seasoning and dishes from all around the world. I love autumn and winter and sort of making really hot stews and curries and just feeling really homely. And I made this black rice porridge with coconut milk and stewed apple and cinnamon, and it was so good. Me being me, I got some rose petals as well, just to make it look pretty.
I think rose petals in particular, it's not just about the way they look, they do impart some incredible flavour. Yeah. That aroma, that beautiful sweetness. I'm going to get you to advise on my next books.
Amazing. And I do photography as well. So
there you go. Right, you've got multiple professions now. Talking of multiple professions, you've had an incredible experience doing sport as well as your more academic stuff.
My dad was a swimmer at national level.
Oh wow, okay.
My mum was a gymnast, and so I kind of grew up with it. And then being deafblind, someone did come up to me one day and said, have you ever considered swimming for the disability team? I said, I didn't realise that there was sort of a thing, And believe it or not, I went to my first national championships in Sheffield when I was 11. I came away with 5 gold and 1 silver.
Oh my God.
So that was pretty cool. And then from there, I was kind of talent spotted and ended up on the GB team. It quickly became my life. So I was training twice a day, every single day. And obviously I permanently smelled of chlorine. Yeah. And the house smelled of chlorine as well. And then my sister picked it up as well. When I was swimming, it was triggering sort of these respiratory episodes. So I ended up sort of being blue lighted to A&E every single night after training, and so I turned into this like all year round Christmas turkey, because they literally just be like sending me in an ambulance in like tin foil in a swimming costume, and it was just like, this isn't a life, it really isn't. So I went for elective surgery, stomach surgery, and it was meant to be pretty straightforward. Long story short, it went very wrong. They damaged the vagus nerve, so I could no longer swallow, could no longer eat, and I ended up having 20 stomach surgeries in that year.
Oh my word.
The hospital I was based at, so when you're 16, you're classed as an adult, whereas somewhere else, you know, you might be still on a paediatric ward. I was on this surgical ward surrounded by sort of much elderly patients, and I remember sort of for at least 2 months, I was the only patient on the bay that didn't have dementia.
Oh wow.
And so every single night, sort of, you know, all the rest and the patient would be screaming out, oh, the police are here, or, you know, going through their list of vegetables. And I mean, it's great because I'm hearing impaired, I can just switch my hearing aids off and I don't hear anything. So, but in all fairness, it was a tough year and a half. But yeah, I came out and couldn't go back to the school that I was at, and I ended up having to enrol at a blind school, which was residential. It was really good. It changed me as a person. So before I was very sort of dependent, I didn't have a lot of confidence, wouldn't go into a shop on my own. And then within the first year of going to this new school, I was on a plane to Africa alone. Wow. And so I literally changed as a person, and it was great. But academically, it was, sadly, I think we were put into a bubble. Not in a bad way, but I think people wanted to protect us, and they didn't think that we could maybe achieve as much as we could. It was not malicious at all, and you know, they really, really cared for us. I mean, the school, at the time I was there was only 60 students. So we were like a family. It was wonderful. But when I said, hey, I want to do medicine, they just laughed. Really? And they said, Alexandra, you can't be a doctor because you're deafblind. Yeah. Don't be so ridiculous. And obviously, I've had stubborn on my school report every single year since about 4. And so I was still stubborn at this point. So what did I do? I went the complete opposite end and decided to apply to medical school. So I essentially said to the school, look, I want to go to medical school, and the only way of me doing this is for me to work hard and get my A-level grades. So essentially, in my spare time, I taught myself 3 A-levels, and honestly, it was testing at times. I mean, having gone from being bedridden in hospital for 1.5 years and, you know, completely relying on my parents at home, to moving away, doing my own washing, shopping, cleaning, everything, ironing, and teaching myself A-levels completely by myself was literally just mind-blowing at some point.
Alexandra, my mind is blown right now. Like, if I didn't have if I didn't have respect for you now, it's just gone to a whole nother level. Like,
so I am writing a book. It's more about a memoir of being a deafblind medical student. I talk about my experiences as a patient, my sporting background, and I talk about my travels and the palavers I get into in the process. I wanted to go see Victoria Peak. I say see, like I can't see it, but just to take a load of photos and put them up on Facebook or whatever. Being me, just trying to be different, I wanted to take an alternative route. So instead of taking the tram up, I decided to go to this kind of, you know, out of the blue neighbourhood.
Nothing stops you, does it,
Alexandra,
Alexander, honestly, like.
So anyway, I went looking for this staircase, which I read about on a blog. I couldn't find it, and I was walking along this road and I came across this like ladder, which I later found out was a typhoon shelter thing, but I thought it was this staircase that they were talking about. So there's me with my white cane just climbing up this ladder, and then all of a sudden I'm in this like the undergrowth. Oh dear, which way did I come? There was no path whatsoever. So I'm thinking, oh my gosh. So I carried on walking, and then my cane, there's a ball at the end of it, and it rolls over when you're kind of going over like an edge. And everywhere I put it, it was going over the edge. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I'm on a cliff of some sort with all these trees, and you know, and at the time I didn't have any mosquito spray on and everything. I was literally being nibbled.
Oh my word.
So I'm thinking, right, I need to get down. So I sat down and I slid off the side of this edge. Eventually sort of, you know, ducking all these branches, got to the bottom, and I'm thinking, phew. And then I realised that I'm surrounded by this like really high metal fence, and I didn't know whether it was electric or anything. And then I found this little hole about this big down there between a bramble bush, literally like a little broken hole. And I thought, oh my gosh, I've got to like just get on to my stomach. And so I wriggled out of this little hole. I'm thinking, oh my goodness, thank goodness. And I thought, yeah, I'm at the bottom. Carried on walking, and my cane rolls over another edge, and I hear cars. I'm thinking, oh, civilization at last. Because I genuinely thought, I videoed myself, you know, saying just in case search and rescue find me. At that point, that was the first time I'd ever done this. And so I'm thinking, right, now I'm gonna have to sit down again and slide down this edge. And then I found myself on the hard shoulder of the motorway.
What?
Yeah. And all these cars are like going beep, and just like, what is this blind person doing on the motorway?
Oh my God, Alexandra, honestly, I almost
I
burnt
could
my
talk forever,
food
I'm so
here
sorry.
because I was so engrossed
Talking
in
about
this
cooking.
story. I'm just gonna pop this on the side here. Traditionally what we would do is serve this with a little bit of yogurt on the side. Let me give this to you here.
Amazing. That is so good. Yeah, I know what you mean by the yogurt. I think, yeah, that would be really nice on the side. But do you know what? I think this is just, it's so good on its own.
Oh good,
It
I'm
really
glad.
is, it's amazing.
I'm so glad, Alexandra. We're gonna jump on and carry on chatting on our podcast. The link for that is down below, and you can find all of Alexandra's socials and her incredible work down below as well. Make sure you check that out, and we'll catch you on the podcast in a second. Thank you so much for watching this video. There's so many others for you to enjoy right here. Check out thedoctorskitchen.com, sign up to the newsletter where I give science-based recipes every single week. There's a podcast, there's 2 books, there's loads more content on social media, doctors_kitchen, and I hope to see you there.